beauty blend.
I love this place.
Thank
It's
you.
awesome. It has makeup and skincare and all your personal needs are taken care of, and a great staff, a great place to be in, and there's always learning and education too. So we love it here.
Absolutely, absolutely, as always. So, Selena, tell us about yourself. Where are you from? Are you originally from Atlanta?
No, I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Yankee,
Mm-hmm.
but now I'm a Southern peach, kind of.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to be a peach.
It does, it does.
So, so I was raised and born in Pittsburgh,
Excellent.
out in the suburbs, borderline country. There is such a place,
Yeah, yeah.
which means when you go to school, you might have to walk across the cow field.
Wow.
The cows are eating on the football field. I mean, we're talking about rural. But, you know, it doesn't matter where you grow up. You can always have dreams
Yeah.
and try to accomplish them, and that's what I did. I used to get all the fashion magazines, and I'd pour over them like the Bible. And I would learn models' names, photographers' names, designers' names. I got so good. If I saw something in a department store window, I didn't even have to see who the designer was. I could probably tell just from the way the clothes were presented, and I would know that that was that particular designer. And it came in handy many years later when I moved to New York, and I was going to work for a fashion stylist in the city. And we went on a photo shoot, and I saw all these incredible models that I'd seen in the magazine in the background. And I said, that's so-and-so. And she used to be here, and then she did that, and that. And she was looking at me, how do you know all this stuff? And I went, yeah. And I got hired because I had done my homework.
Excellent.
You just
excellent.
can't, and nowadays they have, you know, social media, and you have the phones. We didn't have that when I was growing up. I only had the magazines to pour over. And now it's so much easier, but doesn't mean that people still put the effort forth to study and learn their craft. Even though it's easier now, you still have to put that work into it. So when I was growing up in Pittsburgh, my only real talent was roller skating. Four-wheel roller skating. Now,
I don't
what are you
see
going to
you
do
roller
with that?
skating.
What are you going to do with that, right? That's my
Yeah.
God-given talent. So I had an interest in, like I said, fashion and makeup. So I wound up going to a modeling school, which kind of opened up the door
Yes.
for me to be even more interested in makeup. So I wound up going to cosmetology school.
Nice.
They had told me they taught makeup. Guess what? They didn't.
And,
They
yeah.
just, they did
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
because it's not state board
Yeah.
authorized. So they could do like a week of it and not really teach you anything, and I was so disappointed.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what? That was stupid of me, because I didn't have a mentor to say, it doesn't matter if you know, if you don't like hair. Learn how to do it to the best of your ability. You're going to need it. And in our
Absolutely.
industry, a lot of times we do makeup and hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for years I was afraid of it, which is not good when you have to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know, you wind up taking extra classes, trying to make that effort. When you're in school, everything's right there and you can learn it there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I came out and I didn't get into the hair, obviously, because that wasn't what I wanted to do. Started working for department stores. So I worked for Elizabeth Arden, Estee Lauder, Prescriptives, a lot of different makeup lines.
Yes.
And I did become a resident makeup artist for Estee Lauder, which meant I basically wasn't selling, but I would do treatments for people and get their makeup charts together, go to different stores and present the makeup and have classes, and that was the beginning.
Nice.
And then I just
Nice.
worked my way up to, after that, print, then went to TV commercials, then videos, and then TV shows, and at last feature films.
So do you remember your first big gig or first big movie you worked on?
Well, the first big movie, it wasn't big, but it was a teen movie, one of these things you see at 3 o'clock in the morning, because it's so bad. But you
Yeah.
got to do a movie, and to be a department head, you got to have done a movie.
Yes.
So I had done like a lot of TV before then, but my first movie it was called Senior Week. And it was pathetic. But it's so funny. If I look at it now, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I got to be the department head, and that was the beginning. But what really took me to my next level was doing Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, nice.
They shot it in Florida. That's where I was living at the time. And I met V. Neal, who's still my friend and my mentor. And she came into Orlando because she was going to be shooting it with Tim Burton. And I was introduced to her, and she said to me, I'm doing a movie with Tim Burton. Would you like to do it with me? And I'm like, huh? Yeah. Second words out of her mouth was, are you in the union? And I had just joined the union by a miracle, right?
Nice.
And I think she thought, look, she's not going to ever admit it, but I think she thought she was going to get out of it because I was going to say, no, I'm not in the union. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry, you can't do that with me. But I said yes. Next thing I know, I'm assisting her doing Johnny Depp's makeup.
Oh, nice.
Putting those scars on. And she was so patient with me, and I thought, any minute this lady's going to blow up because I'm not getting it. I'm so scared and shaky. In fact, she kept putting the scars on Johnny just so easy and so nice and flowing. And I would do it, and the scar would stick to my finger, and I'd be like, Johnny, he's looking at me like, what are you doing? The secret was, which I didn't know, is that you put a little powder on your finger, and then you can lift it up. But see, it's all in the training. And nowadays, especially, back then you really didn't have to know special effects side, but now you have to.
Yeah.
You really have to know special effects, not making the pieces, but how to apply them, which glue to use, the removers. It's a whole nother world.
Yeah.
So you really have to have training for this.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people come to me and they'll say, oh, I do special effects, and I hate to say it, but I'm rolling my eyes like, you have no idea what special effects is.
Yeah.
I mean, I was told on Edward Scissorhands by the guys who did the Scissorhands and did a lot of the special effects, you have to live, breathe, eat, and sleep special effects.
Yeah.
It's just, because it's a whole other world. You really have to get into the nuances and really work every day, because if you don't use it, you lose it. You know, you can't just do it part-time or whenever it happens.
Yeah.
It has to be like second nature to you. Also, just like with makeup, if you make a mistake, you have to know how to get out of this mistake, and that takes time.
Yeah.
And it takes, just like airbrushing. People say, I'm an airbrusher. Well, do you know what, if the airbrush gets jammed, how to fix it? Can you pull it apart and find where it's not working? That's when you're an airbrusher. That's when you're a special effects makeup artist.
Yeah.
When you know how to correct the mistakes. The ball cap tears, the makeup turns gray. How do you, it's all, that's where the learning comes in.
Yeah.
So everybody says that they're a makeup artist. That's fine. There's no problem with that. But what degree are you a makeup artist?
Yeah.
How much have you studied? And I have people bragging now, well, I'm self-taught. Well, that's nice, but believe me, that's not everything. You have to take classes. I still take classes. I've been to your classes, Julian.
Yeah.
You have to keep learning. You have to keep growing.
Yeah.
There's no stopping to the education. I've been doing makeup over 35 years. Please, if I'm taking classes, everybody else should be taking classes too.
True.
Things change every day in our business. New materials, new products. Constantly I'm looking on the internet, constantly I'm looking at social media to see what products are new.
Yeah.
I see the special effects products. Those glues, they change all the time. And I can tell when somebody has a newer kit and they know what they're doing, and somebody who just is dabbling and playing around. And you'll get busted. You cannot mess around with people's skin. And the products that you use, you really have to work and learn your craft.
Excellent. So what are some products out there you're using now, new products that you're in love with?
Well, that's a good point. There's some new skincare products. You have some of them here that really make a difference. They really prep your skin. And that's why facials are very important. That's why I'm glad you have facials here, that people can come and get their skin done. The actors and actresses and regular people, they can all come in and get their skin done, because that's the base. So I do love a lot of the new skincare products that are out that keeps your skin from drying out.
Yeah.
I mean, the older we get, the drier we get. You've got to learn how to take care of regular skin, combination skin, oily skin, and that's the secret for anybody who's doing makeup on somebody. I mean, I have people that I sit in the chair and they're all broken out and they have all these problems. And it's like, I can't fix it in 2 seconds.
Sure.
And makeup now, because of HD, you have to be very careful what kind of products you're using. You can't look too heavy. People think, oh, makeup is just really heavy. It's not anymore. It's very sheer, very thin. So you have to really have good skin to really make it look good on the big screen. I mean, you can imagine somebody's head is gigantic. The skin is right there. You can't, pretend.
So what is the most important part of a makeup application for you?
First of all, it's getting to know the person. We have very few minutes when somebody sits in my chair. They have makeup tests. They have things when you can meet somebody before you sit them down. They don't give you a lot of time to really suss out somebody, find out what they like. Whether they like it more or do they like it heavier? Do they like this product, that product versus... Now, my world basically has been more background work, which I love too. I love the trailer work and I love the background work. I just got done with a show called Daybreak that's being shot in New Mexico by Netflix, and very exciting. And so it's more for younger people. It's like a sci-fi show. So we had a lot of young kids, young actors in that, and we had to do like zombie type makeup, but it wasn't zombie. I'm not going to say any more about it because it's really not come out yet, but it's going to be tremendous show. So, I wound up not really doing a lot of makeup per se, but a lot of special effects, more blood and things like that, and dirt. So that's basically where it's at. I mean, it's getting to know who your actor is or what they're playing, what is the show about. That really, if it's a period show, obviously I'm going to do period makeup, and it might mean I'm going to do, if it's the 18th century, maybe a little heavier makeup, it's going to be different. So really there's no set way, but as an artist you have to learn the past and now and the future, because sometimes I had to do future looks. I did the Hunger Games, and that was all incredible, futuristic, high glamour, fantasy, was all mixed together. Even with Black Panther, we had a twist on the makeup for that. We had to do a little different makeup than just regular, everyday makeup. We had to do kind of tribal makeup, and we had to make it up on the spot. You don't get time to figure out what you're going to do. You have to already have it in your mind. It's called a makeup morgue, which used to be a lookbook of different looks and everything. You can make them up, but it really has to be in your mind, because nowadays things are thrown at you at a moment's notice, and they don't want to hear no. They want to see what you have to do and what you can pull out. I mean, I did a movie that was called Problem Child 2, long time ago, silly movie, but it was with the great John Ritter, and one of the scenes called for one of the actresses to come up and touch the doorbell, ring the doorbell. And when they opened the door, she was supposed to look a certain way. Well, they never told me, or the hairdresser, what the look was supposed to be. We find out maybe a half an hour before they're going to shoot this, that they wanted her to look like she was electrocuted. And I'm like, how am I going to do that
in 30 minutes?
In 30 minutes, I don't even know what that would look like. I mean, even if I sat down for a week, I wouldn't know if I could figure that out. Well, we didn't have time. So I put some crazy makeup on her, and the hairdresser did this incredible wig that stuck up like a mile high, and then they put some smoke there so when she rang the doorbell, and it worked. But you have to be careful, because that's going to live forever, right? And if it's like, I don't know if I could look at it now and go, oh my God. But people don't know the backstory a lot of times. People are so critical. Why did he do that? Why does it look like that? Why didn't it? Well, come on, we don't have time anymore. The director's involved, the actors involved, the producers involved, everybody's involved in your look. And so a lot of times you don't get to be that creative like you would like to be. But you still have, like when V did and Nicoletta did the Hunger Games, they got to design the makeups, but we had to follow what they had. They had a look board, and they showed us pictures of what they might like, but we still had to interpret it our way.
Yeah.
So that gave us creative license, which is wonderful too when you get to do that.
Good. What challenges did you face when you started out as a new artist trying to get into the industry?
Well, first of all, our business is based on networking. Obviously, it's all who you know.
Yes.
You may be so talented, you may know how to draw, paint, all that. That means nothing. It's in the way that we work in our business. We have to network. You have to know people. It's word of mouth. Yeah. And that's the way it's been, and that's probably the way it's going to be. It is hard. Yeah. It is hard to meet the right people at the right time. I always recommend people going to a makeup school or a hair school, because you're surrounded by people who are doing what you like to do.
Sure.
Sometimes opportunities come through these schools. A producer or a photographer, they might need somebody, and they know to call the schools.
Yeah.
So I was going to a school once just for a brush-up course in LA. The word came in that they needed somebody to do makeup for Celine Dion in her Vegas show, and I got to do that.
Nice.
But if I wasn't there at that school at that time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a little bit of, first of all, it's God. Second of all, it's luck.
Yes.
It's kismet. It's fate. I always tell people to aim at something. If that's what you think you want to do, you aim at it and go 110%. Along the way, you might veer off and say, this isn't really what I thought I wanted. And then you can start to maybe go in another direction. But when you're first starting off, I think school is the answer, because then you're around your peers, you're around makeup. How are you going to know it? I mean, if you're doing makeup in your home, how are you going to meet people to help you further your career along?
True.
There's a lot of seminars and workshops. You have them here.
Yeah.
And people need to come to your workshops. They need to come to your seminars. They'll meet other makeup artists. You meet that makeup artist. She might have a project, or he might have a project that they can use you on. It's all about networking.
Absolutely.
And it's not about your Facebook page. That's nice. But that's not going to get you the job.
No.
That you have to be social, and you have to meet people in the right circumstances. Just like we had the PMAC conference. This was phenomenal this past weekend. V-Nail was there, Nicoletta Scarlatto's, a lot of Calvin Myers, a lot of top makeup artists were there.
Absolutely.
That's how you network. People don't get it. They think, well, I don't have the money. Well, who has the money? Nobody has money for everything we want to do, but maybe you'll cut out something that you buy all the time that would have been that ticket. Yeah. I'm just saying, it's your priorities that make the difference.
True.
To how and where and when you're going to get what you want to do.
True.
You put those intentions out, and let me tell you, when you put those out to the world, things start coming to you.
True.
People don't believe this. They think it's hocus pocus or just baloney. It's not. I'm living proof of when you put that out there, how things can come to you. I had no idea when I started out that I would be 35 years plus doing this still, having tremendous jobs, incredible things happen. I was with, maybe it's 3 or 4 years ago, with the Rolling Stones. Yeah. They were doing a free concert in Cuba. I never thought in a million years I would be there with them, helping their makeup artist, assisting her. But in Cuba, who would ever dream that, right? Yeah. Being with Celine Dion in Vegas with her show, being on all these movie sets, and working with these incredible actors and actresses, and being in this world. It's a lot of work. I don't think it's for everybody. Everybody shouldn't do it. But that would happen to be my forte. Print wasn't. Yeah. Other things weren't. Film and TV has become my forte.
Good, good. Have you ever been starstruck by a talent you've worked with?
Sure, we all do. The whole thing is you have to be cool. You can't act like, oh my God, because when you do that, it kind of turns them off because they don't know how to respond. Now you're overacting, and then they have to deal with that with the public. You can't do that when you're in a trailer on the set.
Yeah.
But I loved working with Robin Williams. He was one of my favorite people. What a generous, loving man.
Yeah.
So kind to everybody. And so unpretentious and so grateful for what he's gotten and where he got to. So he was like one of my favorites. But I've met Johnny Depp is one of my favorite guys. Obviously, I've worked with him on Pirates of the Caribbean. He's just a really, really awesome person. And I mean, I could go on and on and on. Most of these people know the game. They know they have to be professional at all times. They have good and bad days, but we all are a professional team. We go into the trailers. We have to be professional. They're professional. When we're on set, we have to be professional, or you won't last. You know, people say, well, how did you get this, and how are you still here? I learned to play the game. And you have to play the game good, and you can't run over top of people, be mean to people, sabotage people. You have to be a good soul. You have to, and realize when it's your turn, it's your turn. When it's somebody else's turn, it's somebody else's turn. You can't and you will not get everything.
True.
Because not everything is meant for you to get. You just have to be grateful for what you have, and know that more blessings coming as long as you're out there giving out as much as you can and being as kind as you can.
Yes.
These people who are evil and mean and backstabbing and lazy, let them do it. I see them all the time. They're gone. I'm still here. So it's not that I'm better than anybody else. It's just that I'm grateful to be here and realize you work with people, it's a small world. You do not know that extra you're working with, or that assistant to somebody else, you're going to run into them again. And they may be in a position to hire you. A lot of people don't know the connections people have when they're with them. I work with people all the time, and they're showing me their real selves because I'm working with them in the background, and I'm like, oh, you don't know who I know. And why are you acting like this? When they're in front of the department heads and the keys, they're all wonderful. Butter will melt in their mouth. But when they're back in the trenches, and that's what I call the trenches, I see how they really act. And I'm like, I say to myself, you're not going to make it. Because you have an attitude and you think you're all that and you think you know everything. You have to be humble. It doesn't mean that you're groveling on the ground and acting like a wimp. That's not that. But you have to hear what other people have to say. You have to know and keep your place. If I've been in the business as long as I have, and you just got in a couple of years ago, you're not my peer. Why do you think that you can boss me around and say things to me, and I'm not going to see it? We see everything. So that's some advice I would like to give out.
Absolutely. And you know, the industry has changed quite a bit since you started. What are some of the major changes you've noticed between when you started and now?
Well, when I started, I call us the newbies when I started. And then we had the old bees who have been seasoned and they've been around for a long time. What I found out, though, which is still happening, now I'm one of the old bees. The newbies are coming in. And what we did when we were the newbies, we tried to emulate our peers. I mean, not our peers, the people who had been in the business for a long time. We tried to emulate them and learn because they know it all. We want their thoughts, their training to be passed on to us. What happens is, unfortunately, they were paranoid of the new people coming in. So they didn't want to share with us. They lost so many things because they had worked their whole life to get this particular set of monies or things that they were provided with. We didn't know, so we lost all that. So now that I'm an old bee, a lot of us, we want to share. with the young group
Yeah.
and share with them and let them know so they don't lose what we worked hard to get.
Sure. Sure.
But a lot of times I feel like we get animosity. They think we're trying to tell them what to do or treat them like they don't know what they're doing. We already know you don't know what you're doing, so why are you why are you acting up?
Yeah.
You're not fooling me or anybody else. So that's what I would think would make a difference is if we would come together and not have, and that's what happens. They start hiring, which we did too. You're going to hire people of your own age group. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's also smart to, and I've had young people invite me in to work with them. Guess what? They're being recommended by me. If there is a job that I have that I can be privy to hire them on and give their name to the people who are hiring, I will do that.
Yeah.
And that's what we all need to do is work together as a strong group. And it doesn't mean union or non-union. It means all of us together, especially in Atlanta. It's a great time to be here.
Yeah.
We have so much going on. There's room for everybody.
Yes.
You don't have to scrape and scratch and punch and fight.
True.
Like I said, when it's your turn, and you will get what you need to get.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So, Selena, when you're not working, what do you enjoy doing?
I think you know the answer. I enjoy sleeping. Our business is very hard, like every other business, but we work usually 2 days and 1 day. We work 15 to 18 hours a day. That's a long stretch, and if you have to be there 5, sometimes 6 days a week, it takes a toll on your body. So, and sometimes we start very early, like 4 in the morning, and sometimes we start later in the day and work all night. So our hours are very, very all over the place.
Yes.
So I call ourselves gypsies. We're really gypsies.
Yes.
But that's, and I like to do things like movies, of course, and roller skating. I still do it.
Nice.
Yeah, I can't. What am I going to do? It's a great talent, a great exercise, and it's a lot of fun.
Yes, it is.
So that's what I do in the spare time. And I do take classes. Anytime I see somebody teaching a makeup class or doing something with special effects, here in Atlanta we have the engineer guy. We have different places that you can take classes. North Costco, which is excellent. They're nowhere near the price that they would be charging in LA or New York. And for people not to take advantage of that, especially when they're telling me they know special effects and you're not taking those classes, something's wrong with that picture.
True.
So
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. So from what I'm hearing is that you think continued education is really important.
Oh, it's vital. I don't know how you can, I've seen people who still have the same old makeup kit. I just worked with a lady. She had been out of the business for a while. She came back in and her kit was atrocious. I'm like, girl, you need to catch up here. So, I mean, even though she's a talented artist, she just had lost the rhythm, had been out of touch for a while. That she would have been great to go to school for even a week or just do it like Gwyneth Mosby, who does PMAC. She has a beautiful school here in Atlanta. And I have taken classes from her quite recently just to learn how to beat the face better. And a lot of people, you know, if you don't practice it or you don't have a chance to, a lot of times I do so much just regular makeup. When it comes time to doing something more, it's not there. So you have to go take that training and keep on practicing it. And it's fun. And people say, well, I can't afford it. Here again, we all know if this is something we want to do, if we want to go to a concert, if we want to go on a cruise, we find that money somehow. So, and to make money, you have to spend money. And people don't understand that. I have spent a lot of money to do this business, but it was the only way. When I see somebody has a kit that's from, people from LA come here or other places, I want to see what products they have because I want them in my set. Because then people feel comfortable with you. Let's be real. It just makes sense to do it that way. But all that money that I've spent, I've made it back tremendously. Tremendous amount of money back. And satisfaction that I know that I have what I need to do the right looks. What do you see yourself doing in the next 10 years? Well, that's a good question. I hope to be retired, but we never stop until you have to. I still enjoy working,
Okay.
but I would love to teach.
Good.
I've always done it.
Yeah.
Throughout my life, I've always taught. So I would love to be able to teach people, help them with their careers, help them figure out what they should be doing.
Yes.
What's their forte? What is their niche? A lot of people are aiming for film and TV, but there's so many different other careers that you can have with makeup that will give you tremendous satisfaction.
Yeah.
Some people who do print make more money than we do with film and TV.
Yeah.
It just depends where you're good at, and
Sure.
but it takes time to figure that out, and it's always nice to be able to mentor people in the directions they need to go to.
Excellent, excellent. So if you could go back and give your 21-year-old self some advice, what would that be?
Not to get hung up on what people thought of me. You know, we get so worried about that, and it tears you up at night. You can't even sleep because you think, oh, I did that, stupid, and I was wrong. I spent too much time. I mean, you have to go over that in your mind, but to let it go any more than just a night or two, you're wasting your energy and your time. And no matter what you do, I've come to find out, things always work out.
Yeah.
You don't have to, I mean, sometimes I wanted to jump off a bridge. I mean, that's how devastated I was over something that would happen. Somebody thought something bad of me. And, you know, we all try to be good people. So when somebody's blaming you for something that you didn't do, it's like so heart-rending. You feel like giving up.
Yes.
And come to find out, it all worked out in the end. So I would tell myself, do the best you can, take it serious, do the best you can, but don't be so hard on yourself or to give up.
Yes.
I mean, the main thing is just don't give up. I mean, you can work your way through anything. Time heals everything. People get over things. They don't even, look, they're more worried about themselves than you.
Sure.
If you did something stupid or ridiculous, you think that's going to be in the front of their mind? No, they have other things, their own lives to worry about. They're not worried about you. And the less you react about it or feel intimidated about it, there's also the other side. I hate it when somebody gets super cocky and gets really puffed up or act like, I don't care, whatever. That's ridiculous. We know you care.
Yes.
And people and I've seen some of the most insecure people act out like they are the biggest thing since sliced bread. I'm like, and I come to realize they're more insecure than I am.
Yes.
So I wish I had known that when I was younger, that some of these people who act like they're all big shots and know everything and are all railroading over you and stomping you to the ground are way insecure. True. That's why they're acting like they're good actors. See, I'm not a good actor.
There you go.
You know when I am not happy.
Yes.
I can't play poker.
Good.
But they can. And they do a good job of acting like they're everything and you're nobody. So I wish I had, you know, the brains that I have now back then to say, no, don't worry about it. I'm covered. God's got me covered. I don't need to worry about them. Yes.
Good. Well, Selena, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. I'm so happy you could join us on this amazing event. It's been a minute, and we're so excited that you have finally got in store with us.
Oh, thank you very much, Julian. You're a doll.
Oh,
I enjoy you tremendously and your store and Makeup Forever. You give us such a great deal on it. I just can't resist you being in here and buying.
Thank
you so
Selena.
much.